Going to do a Chapter 9 review. This one should be pretty short because there's not a lot in Chapter 9 that you guys really need to worry about when it comes to the final exam. So we're only going to do two questions from the back of the review here from Chapter 9. These two questions have pretty much everything you're going to need to know. Another thing is, of course, I know people like to do these questions in different ways, so if you like to do it by hand using the formulas, then by all means do that. But your calculator can do everything for you very easily. So I would prefer if you learn how to do it in the calculator, because it's not finding the answer is what I really care about. Although that is important, obviously. It's knowing what the answer means. That's way more valuable. Okay, so I'm going to jump over to the book here. We're on page 425, and we're going to start off with number 10. So this is some 9.1 level stuff. So 9.1, number 10, I already forgot what page it was. 425? Oh yeah, look at my memory. All right, good. So long life. In a survey of 35 adult Americans, it was found that the mean age in years that people would like to live is 87.9, with a standard deviation 15.5. An analysis of the raw data indicates the distribution is skewed left. Now that I think about it, I don't know if this is 9.1 or 9.2. Let me look. This is 9.2 stuff. All right, we're starting off with 9.2 first. We'll do 9.1 next. My bad. 9.2. Number 10, page 425. Okay, great. So the thing about this question is that, like Chapter 8, it gives you a sample size, it gives you the mean, and it gives you the standard deviation. But this time, they are not asking you to find proportions or probabilities of this particular sample's mean to be within a certain range. Instead, they're going to be asking us to construct a confidence interval. Anytime you see the words confidence interval, you're doing Chapter 9 stuff. It's a dead giveaway. All right, so starting with Part A, explain why a large sample size is necessary to construct a confidence interval for the mean age that people would like to live. Okay, so this goes back to Chapter 8 stuff when we're looking at those sampling distributions. It does not say anywhere in this question that the distribution of the age that people would like to live to is a normal distribution. What that means is that we don't know if the sampling distribution is going to be normal or not unless we have a sample size that is above 30. So that's what we need here. So for Part A, the reason we need a large sample size is so we can guarantee the sampling distribution of the mean will be normal. If it's not normal, we can't do anything, much less the, what's it called? Confidence intervals. Geez, I had the biggest brain fart there. Okay, so that's that. Part B, construct and interpret a 95% confidence interval for the mean. Okay. I know there's a formula to this, and I'm sure you guys have probably been struggling a little bit when you're doing stuff like finding t-scores and all this other nonsense. But you don't have to do any of that with the calculator. So let's go to our calculator, and we're looking for confidence intervals. Confidence intervals are, I think, in the distribution menu. No, they're not. Oh, crap. All right, hold on. Let me think about it. Confidence intervals are not apps, right? Maybe they are in the distribution menu. Nah, no way. Stat, that's where they are. Okay, so if you go into stat and then you arrow over to tests, this is where the confidence interval stuff is going to be. Okay, so there is a lot of programs here that we could use. But whenever you are doing a confidence interval, and you're doing a confidence interval for means where you have t-scores, we're going to be doing this t-interval down here. So t-interval is a confidence interval using t-scores. We use t-scores whenever we're doing confidence intervals about the mean. So I'm going to click on that, and we have a menu. Everybody should have a menu for this one. And we have two different options. We have data and we have stats. If the question just gave you the raw data in a table, you would leave it on this option. But they didn't give us that for our question. They went ahead and found the mean and the standard deviation for us. So we're going to go over to stats, and we're just going to plug in the sample mean and the sample standard deviation. Okay, so just going over to it. The mean, right, came out to be 87.9, standard deviation of 15.5. So we're going to plug that in for the mean and the standard deviation of this particular sample. I already forgot it, 87.9 and 15.5. The next thing it's asking is the sample size. That was that 35 adult Americans is in our sample, so 35 for the N. And then it's going to ask us for the C level. That stands for the confidence level. That they just give you in the question, right? They want a 95% confidence level. Okay, and then calculate. And then that's it. Your calculator does everything for you, and we get this. This is how we want to write out our confidence interval. Parentheses, the lower limit, comma, the upper limit, close the parentheses. And then just make sure you're reading the questions carefully on where to round this stuff at. I'm just going to leave it as is, though. So our confidence interval, I can't really get both of these on the same. Oh, there we go. That works. Our confidence interval is 82.576 to 93.224. Okay. Going back to the book, though, it doesn't just ask us to construct the confidence interval, it also asks us to interpret the confidence interval. So if you're working on the homeworks already, then this is like the multiple choice stuff of choosing the correct sentence for what this confidence interval means. So let's go back and read through the question again so we can really understand what it is this confidence interval is going to mean. In a survey of 35 adult Americans, it was found that the mean age in years that people would like to live is 87.9. with a standard deviation of 15.5. Okay, so the data value that we're talking about is the age that people would like to live to. What we have just found is this. We are 95% confident the mean age that Americans, I think they're Americans, right, would like to live is between 82.576 and 93.224. Now, we don't know exactly what the actual average is that people would like to live to, but we're 95% sure that it's in between these two numbers. We may be wrong, right? There is a 5% chance that it's not in between these two numbers, but we're 95% sure that the mean is in between these two numbers. All right, so that's what a confidence interval does for us. Okay. I hope you can see how powerful this is, just kind of looking behind the scenes. All we had to do was ask 35 people. We asked 35 people what they wanted to live to, and then calculated their average and their standard deviation. From that, we were able to make a claim within 95% accuracy for the entire population of America that it has to be in between these two numbers. Okay. There is one more part to this question. How many adult Americans would need to be surveyed to estimate the mean age that people would like to live to within 2 years with 95% confidence? This is not something the calculator can do. This is where you're going to have to use the formula from the formula sheet.